After my reading of chapter 3 and after the discussion from last week that we talked about running records, I plan to implement my own running records as a form of assessment in my own classroom. And the one that I found on Teachers Pay Teachers is a reading fluency one, and this is something that I would use in my classroom with 2 paragraphs, and it's a total of 114 words. And at the very bottom, there is a spot for miscues, self-corrects, and total words read out of the 114, the correct ones that they got, which obviously the student would not use this part. Their sole purpose is just to read the 2 paragraphs. And so I would bring them out to the hallway one at a time, because from my experience, it's best when a student can be away from the rest of their peers so that they don't have any distractions. And I would simply ask the student to read the 2 paragraphs, and I would have my own copy with my notes at the very bottom, and just ask them to read to the best of their ability. And if they get stuck on a word, that they would just move on and go to the next one. And so what my purpose would be was to check off the words they got correct, and circle the words that they missed or that they might want to come back to. And I think something that's very important is at the very end, ones that they were close to getting, allowing them to go back and try to correct it. And if they get it correct, that's great, but we still need a mark that, hey, they're still struggling on this. And so using this, I would try to use this at the very end of the week, so that based off what we did in class, where they're at now. And by keeping the progress of all of my students, I can see how they're all doing and compare them to one another and see if there's any common mistakes, so that me as the teacher, I can be like, okay, that maybe this is something that we need to work on with these type of words, especially with younger grades. And so that next week I could use the knowledge that I gained to design my lessons around their mistakes. And so what I really want to accomplish with using my running record would be just tracking the progress of my students, so that I can better help them, better help myself, so that they can be successful in their learning. And I think that not only running records for reading, but using running records for all grades, especially in younger grades when these are the basis of their learning that they're being taught at a young age for the rest of their career, so that we can set them up to be successful. And so that's what I would hope to accomplish. And I don't think that's something that you do every day, because then you wouldn't really be able to necessarily see the progress. But maybe every other week or once a month, you bring up this reading fluency. And I think that you can use the same one so students can see where they are, and the ones that they were getting wrong, they can be like, hey, I really understand this now. And it's a confidence booster. And, once they've kind of mastered the whole one, finding a different one at a different level. And these can be used just to see where your levels of your kids are. If you have lower level or gifted students, or students that are right at grade level, this you want to use the same for all of them so that you can see. And then with your gifted students, I feel like you could move up to a higher level one just to see where their grades, how high up they can go. And with your lower level, your goal with this is to get them to grade level as best as you can. And so I think, after learning what a running record is, I think this is going to be a very important tool that I can use in my classroom.